The retired soldier could only afford one bowl of cold porridge a day, because he had exchanged all his money for bullets. Day and night, he practiced his shooting skills relentlessly. Everything he did was for one purpose: to avenge his wife. And this was only the beginning. His ultimate goal was to take down every so-called financial elite on Wall Street. Jim used to be a law-abiding man, but a year ago his beloved wife was diagnosed with a brain tumor. Although the surgery was successful, there was still a high risk of recurrence. The doctor recommended weekly hormone injections to reduce the chances of it coming back. Despite the high cost, Jim gritted his teeth and paid for the treatment. But at the hospital counter, he was told their insurance coverage had already reached its limit. With no other option, Jim pulled out his credit card to cover the bill. That night, he angrily called the insurance company, questioning why they hadn't told him about the coverage cap beforehand. No matter what he said, the response was always the same: apologies and helplessness. Jim hung up in fury. From then on, all medical expenses had to come out of his own pocket. But a veteran's salary was far from enough. They soon stood on the brink of bankruptcy. Late one night, Jim was awakened by his wife sobbing. She felt guilty for being a burden, and wanted to stop treatment. Jim rushed to comfort her, saying they still had $60,000 from his retirement payout. He had invested it in a mutual fund. All he needed to do was withdraw it the next day. But when he called his fund manager, the man nervously hung up, claiming he was on a business trip. Over the next month, Jim maxed out his credit cards to keep paying for treatment. The mountain of bills drove him deeper into despair, until one day, Jim finally managed to meet with the fund manager. He thought his nightmare was about to end, but instead the man hit him with devastating news. Due to the financial crisis, the firm had dumped a batch of junk bonds under the false promise of safety and high returns. Jim was one of the unlucky buyers. He was furious, demanding his original investment back to save his wife. But the manager's face suddenly turned cold.
Jim, that's not how investment works. I mean, you gotta pay to play.
This is not a fucking game, Dimmy. This is my fucking life savings, you fuck.
Look, I understand. Hey, I feel your pain. I do. I lost a lot of money too. But that's how investment works, man. I'm sorry. It gives and it takes away.
Then walked away without another word, leaving Jim standing there utterly hopeless. A few days later, Jim received an email from the manager. He thought maybe there was a solution, but after reading it, his rage exploded. Not only had he lost all his savings, he now owed the bank over $100 grand. To make matters worse, the next day at work, Jim's boss called him in. They had learned of his financial troubles, and as a cash transport company, they couldn't employ someone with money problems. Just like that, Jim lost his only source of income. He wandered the streets in a daze, unaware that an even greater tragedy was waiting for him back home.